Faber joins us right now from the New York Stock Exchange. He has that news. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Becky. We've been waiting for the response, so to speak, from Warner Brothers Discovery to that tender offer we got more than a week ago from Paramount to acquire Warner Brothers for $30 a share in cash. And we've gotten it this morning. It's a 14D9 filing. It is, as you might imagine, voluminous. That said, the key points are ones we've been making. And, of course, the lead is no thank you, Paramount, rejecting Paramount's latest bid, if you will, at $30 a share, all cash, for a variety of reasons, many of which we've been discussing over the last few days and over the last week or so as well. But let me get to specifics because there are a number of them here, and they do focus certainly at least starting with what they believe is being consistently misled by, that is, Paramount consistently misleading Warner Brothers shareholders that its proposed transaction has what they call a full backstop from the Ellison family. The Warner Brothers Board of Directors says it does not and never has. There is no Ellison family commitment of any kind. Instead, they propose that you rely on an unknown and opaque revocable trust for the certainty of this crucial deal funding. And they say, despite having been told repeatedly by Warner Brothers how important a full and unconditional financing commitment from the Ellison family was, and despite their own ample resources, of course, pointing to Larry Ellison's 1.1 billion shares of Oracle that are in that family trust, as well as multiple assurances during our strategic review process that such a commitment was forthcoming, the Ellison family has chosen not to backstop the Paramount offer. Now, of course, backstop is exactly the term that Paramount used in its latest bid, saying, in fact, the Ellison family is good for the roughly $8 billion or so in equity that they were going to need to complete the transaction. This is one of any number of specific recommendations / parts of the rejection that we've gotten this morning from Warner Brothers. They say they gave a full, transparent, and competitive review, established a level playing field that fostered a rigorous and fair process. Now, of course, Paramount has said nothing of the kind existed. In fact, that they feel as though they were disadvantaged, perhaps even from the start, but certainly later on when they felt as though their last offer didn't even get a response. They say, despite Paramount's media statements to the contrary, the board does not believe as well that there is material difference in regulatory risk between Paramount and Netflix. That's also very important, of course, as you both well know, given there has been a view that Paramount would have a speedier and easier regulatory review, certainly here in the United States, perhaps in Europe as well, than would putting together, as is the case, of course, with this merger agreement between Netflix and Warner Brothers, the number one streamer and the number 3 or 4 streaming, depending on how you measure things. But not unexpected. The question now, of course, will be, do we simply wait? We see what the response is from Paramount, and will they choose to raise their offer to trigger perhaps the matching rights that Netflix has under its merger agreement and force it to come up? And will they also address, Andrew and Becky, these concerns, particularly as it deals with financing, something we have been talking about of late and does seem to have been one of the key gating issues as to why Paramount was unsuccessful, even though, of course, it started this bidding and made what ended up being, I think, 6 bids to try and buy this company.